Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I'll be talking about something that Jayden Daniels did in his first preseason game that was insane, at least for a rookie. We'll also be going over some other big things that happened in this preseason game against the New York Jets. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 14,000 subscribers. Let's hit it before the start of the season. It's free. It takes 1 second. Take a chance on me. If you don't like the channel, then you can unsubscribe after a few videos and hit that like button and that comment button as well. Comment down below who you were most impressed by, besides, let's say, Jayden Daniels, because that one is an obvious one. But before we get into the thing that Jayden Daniels did, let's go over stats. 2 for 3, 48 total yards, a rushing touchdown, 109.7 pass rating. And this is what I told myself before the game. I'm not going to get too carried away, either positively or negatively, with the performance of the Commanders. So I'm going to try to stay true to that. But also what I said is I'm not going to be too hard on Jayden because of his situation here where you don't have Brandon Coleman, you don't have Andrew Wiley, Cornelius Lucas isn't playing. So you're playing with backup tackles that might not even make the team. At least Cosme was playing, which is good. And by the way, I was not able to watch the game at my crib. I wasn't able to watch it at home. I was watching at someone else's house on my phone because I was watching the Brazil versus USA final. And unfortunately, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, because half Brazil lost, but whatever. I still was able to watch almost the entire game. And the first play of the game, Jayden Daniels kind of throws it over. I believe it was Eckler, and I'm like, dang, man, that was not a good start. But guess what? The next, I believe it was literally the next play, or might have been 2 plays after, he throws an absolute dime to Dyami Brown, and that's the play that I'm going to be talking about in a second. That was pretty impressive, and it's not just about the throw, because the throw is really good. It was a 42-yard pass that he had to Dyami Brown. That was an amazing pass. He put it right where Dyami Brown could get it. It wasn't an insane catch that Dyami had to make, but it wasn't an easy catch, but it was basically a perfect throw. It was a perfect throw, and to be able to do that, I believe it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, something like that. Stand in the pocket, throw an absolute, dime like that. That's really good. He also threw a short pass to Terry McLaurin on that drive, and then they had a touchdown with him in the red zone where he basically was like untouched for a 3-yard rushing touchdown. I was very, very impressed by Jayden Daniels. Only knock was that one screenplay that he messed up a little bit. That was probably him. I mean, he overthrew it. Sometimes there's miscommunication, so I'm not going to 100% put it on him. It wasn't a great throw, but the 42-yard dime more than made up for it. Way more. And then obviously the rushing touchdown as well was really impressive. I thought the first team offense looked pretty good, but we'll get into that in a second because I know a lot of people clicked on this video because of the title, and that's what I said happened. So Jayden Daniels actually changed the play on 3rd and 7 from a screen pass to an all-out play, which resulted in a 42-yard gain. And this was said by Austin Eckler. Sam Cosme already said that. And some people might be like, you know what, that's not insane. Quarterbacks are supposed to do that. For me, though, on your first pass, I guess let's say your first drive ever in an NFL game, and it's preseason, but still, that's your first preseason game, to have the confidence as a rookie to change the play after not liking the look. He said he didn't like the look that the screen pass gave him. To be able to do that is really, really impressive and not something that I was expecting, even though Jayden Daniels is very experienced. He played 5 years in college and stuff like that, but not many guys, if any guys, are able to do that right away. You have to have a lot of football IQ. You have to have a lot of confidence to be able to do that. And that is what I think Dan Quinn's talked about. Like, he has a, really high level of confidence and swag, but at the same time, he's not arrogant. He's very humble, and it's a very good combination, like the best of both worlds that you want in your franchise quarterback. Not going to get too carried away, but I thought that was amazing, and that is very impressive and a good sign of things to come in the future with him, maybe down the line, maybe switching some plays and stuff. Also, let's talk about, actually some of you guys might actually care about his pregame fit. when I first saw it, I was like, oh, Terry. But then I was like, and then they said Doug Williams, fire, pregame fit by the hopefully franchise quarterback. And the old jerseys, not going to get too much into that talk, but these look so much cleaner. It doesn't even have the old name on it. It doesn't even have Redskins on it, but it just, like, it's not about, like, I know a lot of people love the old name, and that's fine, but I think it's pretty clear that those jerseys were better. The colors were better in terms of the numbers were burgundy on the white ones. It just, I don't know. The new ones don't look good, so I think those need to get changed, but that's a topic for another day. Today, celebrating how well Jayden Daniels did. It was a very small sample size, though, and I think that was perfect, though. With the offensive line and the shape it was, you didn't want to have Jayden in more than a drive. You got him confident. You got him a couple plays. It was a touchdown, and he scored it. It could not have gone better for Jayden Daniels in the offense besides maybe him completing that screen to Austin Eckler, but it was a very, very good play by good drive by Jayden Daniels in the offense. Terry had a catch, nothing crazy. And he came out after the first play. De'Ami Brown, shout out to De'Ami. That was a nice catch. Made another catch as well. So, De'Ami Brown's a lock to make this roster because it's not a lot of depth. But also, hey, when you have a performance like that, you deserve to make the team. So the numbers you guys can see here, offensively, receiving, first team, De'Ami had 55 yards. And Jahan, man, that's something to watch. We'll keep an eye out for it, but he was working like with the twos, maybe even the threes, was working late into the second quarter there. Was working, and I think he bobbled it one time. Not a big deal, but it's something to watch out for. 2 catches, 13 yards. Marcus Rosemy-Jackson had a catch. Bryson Tremaine had a nice catch, 3 targets though. Luke was I think we kind of learned it early on in training camp, but Luke's probably not going to be a huge impact player year one, and that's fine. He's still raw. He's new to the position, so that's fine. But he had some nice catches, I thought. Had some nice blocks that I saw too, even from the small phone that I had. I thought he had some really nice blocks, or at least one that I saw. And hey, 2 catches, 25 yards, that's solid. And even though it's against third string guys, let's hope he continues to develop. And the Jets weren't really playing the starters, so it is what it is. I don't know if any starters were playing, but I know the main guys, like Aaron Rodgers obviously wasn't playing, Quincy Williams. So, and yeah, none of the, main receivers and stuff. So it was a little bit of a, easier test for, let's say, Jayden Daniels. But let's keep it real too. His offensive line wasn't the best either and was dealing with a lot of injuries, but still, I'm happy with his performance. Let's see. Running back wise, Brian Robinson had some carries. I thought he was good. Jeff Driscoll was in there, had a nice 16-yard carry. Michael Wiley was impressed by him. 8 carries, 34 yards, had a 15-yard carry, had a tutty. So good job by him. One thing that I didn't like is they had a lot of big negative handoffs, like 4, 5, 6, 7-yard loss. It's 8 yards right here by Marcus Mariota. It just wasn't like the delayed handoffs. I didn't really love those, and I know what you're trying to do there, but you either got to execute it better or not do it, because it was not working today. I mean, look at this. Chris Rodriguez had 6 carries for 0 yards. That's just awful, and it's not all on him. And when you're having like 2 or 3 of those carries for -4 yards each, like, you're not going to be able to get many yards on that. Let's see, besides that, Jeremy McNichols was like the second running back. Besides Eckler, Jeremy McNichols was the second guy. Eckler was solid, 2 carries, 7 yards. And yeah, nothing really to take away from the running backs besides like maybe Michael Wiley moves up in the depth chart a little bit, maybe over someone like Chris Rodriguez. Ben Sinnott. I still hear people calling him Ben Sinnott, but I heard, he said it's Ben Sinnott, so I'm going to say Ben Sinnott. He had a really nice 42-yard catch and another catch too. Like, what you saw in his college highlights was what he showed today, where he's making a catch and he's running with like even 3 or 4 people on top of him. He's running and he's getting 5, 6, 7, 8 more yards with 4 people on top of him, and that's what he did. And he might be a guy that plays better in the games versus practice. He was still working with the threes. Yeah, mostly with the threes, maybe twos. But it's still good to see. It gets your confidence up. And hopefully by the end of the preseason, maybe he can be working with the twos. And so shout out to Ben Sennett. He gets a game ball. Cole Turner, he had a catch for 4 yards. Him and John Bates had some nice blocks on that Jayden Daniels run. Let's see, any other guys on the offensive end that did stuff? Casimir Allen had a catch for 12 yards. Hey, Tress Way had a nice tackle that forced a fumble after a solid return by whoever the Jets returner was. Let's see. Adrian Martinez? He's returning punts. I don't know if he is, but no, he's not. But yeah, that was a good play by Tressway. And there's one other thing I want. Oh, Zacchaeus. I guess he got a catch and then it got called back. But he's making this team. He might be wide receiver number 3 and maybe even number 2 the way Jahan's looking. I'm just kidding there, but am I? I don't know. We'll see what happens with Jahan. Didn't really produce today. And Diami, like some people might say, why aren't you saying Diami is number 2? Hey, maybe he will be, but we've seen him do well at times in preseason or camp. It's got to translate to the regular season. I think Jahan also, he's talented. He had a nice kind of release on one play and then fell down. I don't know. I really don't know with Jahan. He's super talented. Hopefully he does well. Defensively, I've been going really long here, so I'm going to shorten it a little bit. Takeaways on defense. Jamin Davis had some nice plays in the run game, and he played with he played with the second string and then with the third string as well. People might overreact and be like, well, he's working with the third string. He's not making the roster. He's working with the fourth string. I think that's more of they want to give him as many reps as possible, and because he's new to the position. So that's what they did. I thought he played well. Mike Sanders still noticed him on one tackle, was pretty good there. Fidarian Mathis was in pretty early from what I remember. Benning P, not going to try to pronounce his name, but he's been here for a while, had a nice sack. Forbes had a couple tackles, had a PBU, but also gave up a touchdown. And he's going up against third stringers. You got to be better than that. I'm sorry. Didn't notice much from Quan Martin. I don't think there's a lot of takeaways on defense, but KJ Henry had a nice play as well. Javante Jean Baptiste, someone said I pronounced it wrong last time. Hopefully that was better. He had a tackle for a loss, so that was good. KJ Henry had one. Quan Martin, Anthony Pittman. And a Tressway had a nice tackle and a forced fumble. I think Noah cornerback from the Cowboys last year, first round pick from the Dolphins a few years ago. He got hurt, but had some nice plays early on. Brandon Coleman has like a pec strain or something. So not a huge injury, but not a minor one either. And returning-wise, Zacchaeus. That's when I was talking about Zacchaeus. That's what I wanted to talk about. He had a really nice return, 19-yard return, and he bobbled it a little bit, but then you saw his speed there. So he's making the team. He's going to be the returner. Didn't see Crowder return any. He might be off the squad right now. Davion Davis also returned it, and then Byron Pringle and Kaz Allen were the kick returners, and Kaz Allen had a nice return, 32 yards. Kicking is an issue. Riley Patterson missed an easy one. I think it was like a 29-yard or something really short. And then Ramiz Ahmed had a 40-yard field goal and an extra point. So solid there, I guess. We're going to have to see more. I would bring in another kicker. I think it's worth keeping an extra roster spot for a kicker. And yeah, that's kind of it for today's video. Nothing crazy besides, I think, the Jayden Daniels stuff. Some of this other stuff, we'll learn more about some of these players. And after I'm able to really look at some other things, I guess Dom Hampton had 4 tackles. Oh, one more thing. Tyler Owens. Tyler Owens had a really nice special teams tackle. And I know, you don't necessarily just make it because of special teams, but I think he's making this roster. Made a video about him and how he's having a great camp, so watch that. But he had 3 tackles, and all 3 of them were solo. So he's a freak of nature, and that was a good play by him. Shout out to him. And yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did stay till the end, go ahead and comment down below who's an OG-ish player that we can do. Let's go. We'll go Fred Smoot. Redskins player. And hey, if you're watching the USA game, let's hope they win against France. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it, and peace.